Hey guys, welcome. We have VYNYL in the studio. We got Tyler, Andrew, and Hunter. How are you guys?
Doing good, man.
Yes, doing very good.
How are you?
I'm doing great. So I heard you guys just released a new single, "Dancing with the Devil." Can you guys tell me a little bit about that and how that came to be with you guys?
Yeah, that was a really fun song. Originally, it kind of just spawned from an idea I think that we were working on at the time. We just kind of were writing a bunch of stuff, and that one kind of stuck out to me. It kind of took a little bit of working to get everybody kind of on board originally, but when I go back and listen to the original track, I'm like, oh yeah, I know why, because that song came a long way from what it started to what it became.
Yes, it started out quite basic and almost like somewhat like if you've listened to the Bring Me Horizon album, That's the Spirit, kind of started out something more like Follow You, which is the 5th track of that album. From a lyrical standpoint, one thing that drew inspiration for myself was I was actually watching Batman, the 1989 version, Tim Burton's version, and
Best version.
Jack Nicholson's Joker says, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" And I really liked that line. So I was like, okay, there's definitely a song in there, because the duality of going out perhaps to a nightclub and doing something debaucherous, kind of goes hand in hand with that devil imagery almost. And then we wanted to play on something like that. So that's where the kind of catchphrase of Dancing with the Devil came from.
Awesome, yeah. I really like that. I was actually going to ask, how it kind of, came out to be as a song. How do you guys know, what parts you guys work on? How do you guys, divide, who's going to write the lyrics and who's going to do all, the instruments and stuff?
Well, one thing that's quite interesting in our band we're a bit unlike others is that we write pretty individually somewhat, Tyler over here does a lot of the instrumentals, and so does Hunter, and we'll kind of work on songs individually, and myself being the predominant lyric writer, I come from more of a creative writing, English literature, beat poetry background. So my writing, I can kind of write pretty separately and bring my own kind of words or something that I'm thinking of to an idea that they've already formed. And then from there, we kind of collaborate all together to bring it together.
Yeah, we kind of just we'll start with, for example, a beat or maybe a sound even. Whatever kind of, at least how I work, instrumentally speaking, is a very... I just try to whatever pulls me, I'll just try to just dive in on it, because you can kind of get stuck in ruts a lot if you try to really force something to be. But the best songs I've found have always been the ones that come naturally. They just kind of pour out of you. It can be in a matter of 10 minutes, you know. It can be in a matter of an hour. Sometimes it just takes, that kind of tunnel vision focus on that idea, and then you get what you can, and then you're done, and then you go back to it later. And that's kind of when we bring everybody else in, is we have the idea, we just get it done to a point where it's okay, that kind of works, and then we bring everybody, we'll bring Hunter in, and he'll play guitar, and we'll try to figure out a guitar idea, because he's a bit better of a guitarist than I am. I'm a pretty average, mediocre guitarist. I can play chords, that's about it. But this man over here can write solos. And
to add on to that, thing I like to really think about is when trying to write a song, what you said, what pulls you in. It could be just a synth pad sound or something, and what pulls you in, and just really working off that. And if it doesn't pull you in right away, then try a different idea.
And I think that's because, at least for me, a big changing point in our songwriting, I would say even, was a good friend of ours recommended this book for me to read called The Music Lesson by Victor Wooten, and it was a really interesting philosophy about music, and about how we always talk about music being a language, and it's a very interesting thing, because if you think about a conversation is I'll be talking to you, or I'll be speaking with Andrew or somebody, and we speak back and forth. But if I just talk all the time and I don't listen, then it's a very one-sided conversation, and you're bored and you don't get really into it. And so, but I think there's just as much listening in music, just as much music in the listening writing aspect as there is the actual talking and receiving. So when you can make a good conversation in music, it really speaks on a deeper level than you can even, even verbally understand. And that's what really connects.
Yeah.
I feel like the vibrations and that kind of energy, people just gravitate towards that,
Let's get deep here, man.
Sorry.
No, but music is very much a conversation, and I think that people look at either lyrics or instrumentals as kind of this one thing of like, I'm just trying to make something cool, as opposed to actually listening to what the song is asking you to do. And I think like if you can listen to what the song wants you to do, then you're halfway through that big hard battle of actually making the song.
And more ears is always better too.
Yes.
That's why we love working with like our producer, Chase. Shouts out to Lost Terra. He's the dude. He's killing it.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. So it's kind of like communicating that message through like the music and just like collaborating with each other.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what works and just really kind of taking it kind of like step by step and just going through the process.
That's the condensed version.
It's-
Yeah.
The too long didn't read.
No, definitely. I love it.
Music is one of those weird things where it either happens just totally on the fly, and it's all, it's just like, we all just got in a room and we just 20 minutes later we had a #1 hit, or it's this weird thing where it's kind of like, or it's this weird thing where it's kind of like college, where it's like I have to plan out every single detail about this because.
But both can create good things.
Both can create very good things, yeah. But
it seems like the best songs
it's just
though,
kind of
happen at like unintentionally.
Yes.
like
Sure.
3 a.m. You like wake up to go to the
Always
bathroom
3
and then you
a.m.
just get that tick in your head and you're like, oh, that's it. Oh my God.
You're on the toilet at 3 a.m.
The eureka moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys all live together? Do you guys or just like all separately?
So Andrew and I have been living together for almost like going on like 4 or 5 years now, over like different places. We just like when we first met back in North Carolina, he had just moved from South Africa and
actually the UK.
oh yeah sorry the UK and
I was 16.
yeah, and I think I was graduating high school and I went to a graduation party for my friend, and he was there. And we were all hanging out. My buddy, I was in a different band at that time, and the guitarist and myself went to the graduation party for our friend Austin, who's an actor out in LA now. After his parents moved back to Kenya,
To South Africa.
so they moved back to South Africa first.
Get your
I don't
country
even know,
right, dude.
man.
Come
I don't even
on.
know.
See?
They
He
went
doesn't know
out
my
of the
story.
States.
He doesn't know me.
Yeah, and then and then he was pretty much like left here at like 17 or 16, like.
I was 16 when
stranded.
I had my first apartment.
So we basically were like, well, Austin and I are getting an apartment, so you can just kind of hang out. And so we got an apartment together. Then we moved west. He stayed out there. I was like stranded in the middle of the South. This little British kid stranded like with nobody in the 300-person college.
Yeah.
And then
Literally
he was like, man, this sucks so bad. And I was like, dude, just come out to Colorado. So by that point, I had already gotten established because I just came out here and packed everything in my car and just like camped out on the 16th Street Mall for like the first 6 months that I was living here.
Yeah, Tyler should live at Walmart.
In the parking lots and whatever. But, play on the street for money, and like that's how I got like my beer and, I'm not allowed to say weed, but like, beer, my booze and my weed, and paid for like food and stuff, and eventually got settled in that. By that time I was like, yo, come out here. So he came out. We were living in this like 1-bedroom apartment for like $700 in like this basement, and that's where vinyl first happened, like kind of the first rendition. There's actually been like multiple renditions of the band. This is the third rendition, I think, at this point, with you and Logan on board.
It's just one of those things that's a band is always developing.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, well, this is the band, right? But it's kind of, you can't really look at it like that because, like I said, there's multiple renditions of various things. Like I said, vinyl first started out as this weird kind of experimental thing that Tyler and I were doing in a basement, and then it developed from that into doing something that was more of a rock band.
A bit more the kind of M83, Killers, Kings of Leon kind of
thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, from that we developed into more of an 80s flair. And I think that we've kind of very
We
much
slowly went back in time.
Yes, but I think a lot of that comes from Tyler and I have our roots based in alternative punk rock. Hunter, he's kind of based in more hard rock, heavy metal.
And then just straight top 40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like 80s pop is a big thing for us.
So
That's like
I think that the band as it is now, we all kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Gravitate towards 80s inspired alternative music, and that has kind of taken on various different flares within that subgenre. So with 80s kind of being the main genre, and then different subgenres of R&B, alternative rock, and various different kind of outlets have been expressed through that in vinyl.
And to answer the question, I don't live with them, but like
that's right. We still live together, but we just live in this house with two of the guys from this band called Redlands as well.
But
Yes.
honestly,
Okay.
I kind of feel like I do because I'm over.
You pretty
so
much are there every day,
Yeah,
so I think that's super important as a band, you know,
Yeah.
to like be together as much as possible.
And really, like, actually just hang out and do things that aren't involved in music, and that's how you actually
Get
end
into
up staying
shenanigans.
friends. Because if you're just doing music, it ends up being too much of a business thing, and then you just lose your friendship and you end up hating each other. So the more things you can do that aren't music as a band, the better, because you have to keep that balance of like, hey, this is fun and this is cool, but then
Preach
also
it.
this
Preach
is a job.
Yeah, like sometimes it can just become like too much work where it's just all you're doing is just hanging out. It's like
Yeah.
doing music or be at a performance, just doing stuff. So it's cool that you guys like kind of keep it together, keeping it just like friends and just doing stuff.
No,
Yeah, man.
we're-
Thank you.
We're all really good friends, and it's quite surprising, really, because we've only known Hunter for we've known Hunter for 2 years, but we've only really been talking and hanging out for about a year. So it's quite odd, but
And now
it's,
we're in the thick of it.
yeah.
Now we're in it together now.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, you want to join a band? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like wondering, you guys were talking about some of your influences being like 80s pop and stuff like that. So who were like some of the artists that you guys like listen to a lot, that you guys are all into, that you kind of like look after to kind of mold your music?
I'm not the best one because I'm like all over the place.
I would say
you know what
probably-
we listen to. You know what we listen to.
1975.
Things
Well,
like
that's not 80s.
That's not
80s
80s.
talking 80s. I would say
But
like Depeche
it
Mode,
is
Depeche-
Tears for Fears,
Love The
George
Cure.
Michael,
The Cure.
Michael Jackson,
Duran Duran.
Yeah, Duran Duran's a great one. Aha, of course.
It's fantastic.
Nice.
Even like the Eurythmics, and but that's like the thing is like that's also like we like blend that with Imagine, like for me at least it was a like a bit of the electronic scene as well, like more of like the modern electronic mixed with
R&B.
alternative rock and R&B. So like we just come from all over. I mean, I'll listen to anything from like Sade and like Bobby Brown to like friggin' Guns N' Roses, or like friggin' even like Blink 182 or Kings of Leon's. Like the spectrum is just so wide.
Yeah.
For what we pull from. Sorry, what we pull from, and I think you have to have that as an artist these days. Like the point of being a single genre artist at this stake in the game is just leaves you kind of, I think, at a one-dimensional state. Like you want to kind of create something out of nothing, out of everything and
Yeah.
nothing at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It's just kind of like, kind of gathering a bunch of different inspirations at once and then kind of going off of a lot of them, and instead of just being like constricted to like one style
Yeah.
or like one genre. It's
But
just kind
but
of
then you also need to be somewhat focused. You can't be too like.
Well, your sound, obviously.
Yeah, and
gotta hone it in.
and you have to have your main kind of draw points and understand why you love that music and where that inspiration comes from. So for me, I predominantly listen to like 80s, strictly 80s music. I'm kind of one of those people. But then also like, I do like jazz, and so I remember a very strong memory, and what made me want to do 80s inspired music was my mom used to have this little VW Bug. It was like a sport edition. It had a spoiler and had like this really cool like racing stripes and everything, kind of like Herbie, but a silver and black version of Herbie. And we used to drive down this big mountain in South Africa where I used to live to the beach like nearly every day, and she used to play Take On Me on a cassette tape in her car. And I just have this very strong memory of like being like 6 and listening to Take On Me and like the Living Daylights and U2 and all this like just groundbreaking music like Joshua Tree and The Unforgettable Fire and Disintegration by The Cure and all these like new wave artists. And so for me, that's very much my drawing point, especially when I'm looking at lyrics. I'll look at things like The Cure. I'll look at bands like Death Cab for Cutie, which is a more modern band. I'll look at even spoken word poetry like Levi the Poet.
Yeah.
Or I'll go read something like James Joyce and like Ulysses, which is always kind of weird because that book's either the greatest thing in the world or also the worst book in the world. It's probably both.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it definitely sounds like, you know, you guys were like growing up with like really awesome music, obviously.
I wasn't.
Tyler did not, yeah.
My family did not let me listen to anything secular. It was like only Christian music for the most part growing up. I think the first band I ever like listened to that was like out of the like forget you guys, I'm doing my own thing was like Green Day. I think like but not like old Green Day, like I think it was like Holiday or something. And like I had to sneak the cassette tape. I had my friends do that, and then CDs. They would just like my parents would let me listen to that. Can you burn me a CD of Good Charlotte or whatever? Or like I got really into the Christian emo stuff.
Christian emo.
Yeah, all the metal bands.
See, whereas I had like bands like NoFX at 10 years
Got
old.
the cool stuff.
You know, like really hardcore punk bands that have very vulgar, explicit songs about people's private parts. So.
Yeah, it wasn't until I met this guy that I actually like started listening to more of that music. I remember my buddy Adam was like, "Yo, you should talk to that Andrew kid because he like has really good taste in music. Ask him to show you some songs. He'll show you some good shit." And I was like, "Okay, dope." And that's pretty much how our friendship even started, really. Like, show me some music, dude. Give me the goods.
Give me the goods. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like going off each other, you know, with new music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so like going off, you know, the title track, you know, just Dancing with the Devil. Where do you guys go, like to go, like hang out or like go dancing and just kind of have fun?
Bar Standard or even places like I like the Refinery a lot. That's a great bar.
Do you know what I actually
They have a power hour where you can go drink for free for like an hour. Just go slam as many drinks as possible.
This is kind of also where we differ.
Retro room.
Because I like pubs a lot. You know, I'm more of a pub person.
Mr. British pub person.
So my favorite place to go to is actually like the Win Coop, or what's that other place?
You're talking about Three Lions.
Well,
Yeah, it's like a soccer pub.
Yeah.
It's really cool. They have like great English beer on tap too.
Very very good like English ales there, and you can watch the football, and then you know you can go to the Win Coop and get like that one's like the right by Union Station. It's the first bar like in Colorado, I think, like first pub. And you can get there's this thing called the Warning Label IPA. It's my favorite thing to get. It's like 15% beer. You just have like 2 of those, and you're like seeing stars, you know.
Dang.
Lately, I've been actually going to Kava Bar, and I've been.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird plant.
It's like a hippie thing. Yeah, it's not alcoholic or anything like that. It's just kind of like this 3,000 or this root from the South Pacific Islands. It's used traditionally for 3,000 years. It's made out of drink. It tastes like dirty root
Tastes
water.
like butt. It's gross.
But it makes you really makes and gives you, you know,
It does make sure you eat
mild
before you do it.
euphoric sensation.
About a week ago, we were in Boulder at this kava bar, and Hunter's like looks at me. He's like, "I'm gonna get you rooted." I'm like, "What does rooted mean?" and he's just like buying me all these like things called like dirty badgers or something like that.
Shout out to the Root Kava.
Yes, we'll be playing a show, won't there?
We'll be playing a show at the Root Kava Bar in Boulder on May 1st, I believe.
And that is free for everybody.
It's a free show. Yep, it's gonna be over in Boulder. You should come out, Gabe.
Sweet. Yeah, actually.
We'll get you rooted.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's one of those reverse tolerance things where
First tolerance. The
So
more
we'll
you
just do,
drink
like,
it, the
20
more
shots.
sensitive you get.
Yeah, so Hunter was just giving me all these like dirty badgers, and I'm just like, I don't feel anything. Like
Apparently, you look pretty rooted.
Yeah,
according,
you were-
according to the other people I was talking to afterwards. You
I was just chilling.
Yeah, you were very chill.
It's
just
kind
chilling,
it's
man.
kind of one of those weird things
just
where it's
chilling.
like I'm a bit of a stoner, but so like I'm pretty chill like as a person, just naturally, really. I'm pretty like down to earth and just laid back. So like me drinking a bunch of kava is just kind of like me being me in some
Yeah.
weird way, you know.
Awesome.
There you have it. Andrew is him being himself.
Me being me.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you guys are having fun, just doing whatever, going out, you know, finding your own places that you like to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gotta have a good balance between that and work. You know, gotta be able to. But like, I think you need that. You know, sometimes like you get so caught up in like your job or working, because I mean, like, you know, being a musician, we knew we weren't going in this for the money, because there's none. I mean, there's a little bit, and like, you know, obviously if you run your business like a business, you can make money, but you know, we all have day jobs, and so it's like, it's good to, I think sometimes that was the point of Dancing with the Devil, I think, really, was like, even if you know, even
We've
if
gone full circle.
yeah, there you go. Boom, bringing it back around.
Bring it back.
You know, that was the whole point of that song, was like, I feel like, and sometimes, like, I was guilty of this for a minute too. Like, you just become, and I don't think it's necessarily bad to be a homebody. You know, I don't think it's bad. I mean, sometimes you need that. You need your me time. You need to go take a bath and freaking hang out, get a big glass of wine, and kick back, smoke a big old blunt, and just hang out. But like, if you get too wrapped up in yourself, and you kind of lose that social connection, I think we all need as human beings, and we don't get that much of that actual human interaction these days. You know, I hate to sound like a freaking like old soul, but you know, like, you have social media and you have all these things, and it's only getting more digital, everything. And I feel like the human connection is so important, so vitally
Preach
important.
it, Grandpa Tyler.
No, but
To everything that we do, but it's true.
I think it is hard nowadays to connect with people on a real individual basis. Just given the kind of world we're in right now, this media world, and like I said, Dancing with the Devil, it's about that. It's about just going out in spite of everything. I mean, when Tyler and I wrote that song,
we weren't going out.
We weren't going out. You know, like, we actually were like, nearly like evicted from our apartment like a few days before,
we had a roommate,
or after we wrote that, because one of our roommates just left, and we never saw him again, and he just left us with an $800 to pay in 6 hours. Otherwise, we would have getting like evicted, because we had this really bad like leasing company that was like zero tolerance. Like, literally, your rent is late
jerks.
for more than 2 or 3 days, they'll send you eviction notice.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
So like, we were in the midst of like trying to, you know, do all of those kind of things, and we kind of like lost ourselves a little bit. It was a case of writing almost like a self-help song for yourself, you know,
Yeah.
just to remind yourself, like, hey, there is more to life than
Even if it's a bad night, even if that's like the whole, if it's better to regret the night, like, it's better, like, sometimes it is. I mean, like, yeah, maybe if you're like broke and you don't really have any money, or you're gonna get yourself into debt by doing something, it's probably not a good idea. But if you, like, you know, if it's mainly just an issue of your own self-confidence, or your own self kind of like feeling like, you know, anxious about things, kind of like can be like an inspiration to be like, you know, even if it's a bad night, at least you went out and you tried to be social. At least you went out and you tried to live your life, you know. And if you made some mistakes, learn from it. That's, you know, or if you know, got, you know, too drunk or something, learn from that. Learn from that.
Yeah.
But it's better to regret the night than to just hide yourself away and
Stay home and hide. Okay. I
He
kind
gets
of know
it.
the song.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely got that from you guys, like, from the song. You know, it definitely sounds like, you know, just like a fun little anthem. Like, you're just gonna go out and have fun, whether you're just like, you know, at home by yourself, just like dancing, or you know, just doing whatever you feel like doing. So
the kind of visual we had, and it kind of fits with how we wrote the song, was like, you know, a person getting drunk by themselves in their living room, and it's kind of like a happy sad drunk. You know, like, you're sad, so you're drinking, and then you kind of making yourself be happy.
Yeah.
You know, so
that was the original concept for the music video, but the actor got completely wasted, and
all the
and
shots
then he got
were
him,
unusable.
and then
All the shots were unusable.
and then he got embarrassed.
All the shots were unusable.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is really
Drama.
like, it's like cool, but maybe not be actually drunk.
Yeah,
Like,
like, just gotta pretend.
Method acting.
you know, it's like, I don't mind you drinking a little bit.
Method
but-
acting.
Yeah. Sorry. So like, how do you guys just like you guys were saying, like, balance, you know, like your social life with, like, you know, like your band and everything, like you're saying, your day job, and just like being a regular person.
Mathematically.
Yeah, I've got a daughter actually as well. She's
Oh, wow.
gonna turn 2 at the end of this month, so I've got my plate's definitely pretty full. But she is amazing. I love her to death. Her name's Isabella, so maybe she'll watch this someday. Hi, Isabella.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You could show her.
Yeah, I will.
It is hard. It is a hard thing.
Google calendars.
Yeah, right. Right. No,
Those are very useful.
it's
Super useful.
It's just one of those things. I think that everybody doesn't have time. You just have to make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy to say, oh, I don't really have time to do that. It's like, no, you do. It's just that you have to make the time, and it's like we all work jobs that we probably don't really want to do, and some of us are lucky enough to work jobs that we do want to do. But regardless, even if you have 6 hours or 4 hours left of your day, even if you're just going out for an hour just to say hello to your friends, or just to do something social. And it's like,
and I find it's like evaluating what's most important and kind of working around that. And for me personally, it's been kind of a lot of self-evaluation and like kind of breaking down what's most important, because I only have a couple hours in the day. I work 40 hours a week, and like I'm up stupid early in the morning, and usually when music stuff happens late, so it's like I have like this 3-hour free time window, and I deciding
We get that done. We get stuff done.
You learn to be efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, John, this really interesting quote from this guy named John Anthony West, who's a really, really smart guy. He was a novelist. He said that, in order to be an artist, it takes tremendous sacrifices, and I think you have to be prepared to make some sacrifices for music at times, or to be a creative for a job. It takes a lot. You're not going to have a lot of the time that maybe people that like don't really have those kind of aspirations get,
and it's hard
because
to
it's
be
consuming. It's time consuming. Any of that stuff can be.
It's hard to do anything else that's not just music and your job, because there isn't really time for a third thing. And I will say that, like, it, and that even kind of goes into like Found Dead a little bit.
Relationships.
But like, so we none of us are in relationships, and that's purely because we don't have the time. Like we really don't. Like, we were all actually in relationships up until quite recently, and those ended very well for us, and we're still all really good friends with those people. But being an artist and being a musician, there's a lot of sacrifice that you have to do, and to get yourself to a point where it's viable for you to be able to live your life socially in that sense. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort first, and a lot of sacrifice on your end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's obviously other people who are like, they got other things they have to do, and it's just like you got to be there. You got to make the time for it. Like, we all got like a million things that we're going.
A million things.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
It's like the band's Our Girlfriend.
And
it really is. Oh my gosh.
Really is.
I was just thinking about that the other night.
It's pretty much what being, it's not that the band is your girlfriend. You're pretty much like married to like 3 other people, or depending on people in your band, because it's like you gotta line everybody's schedules up, and gotta make sure like everybody's happy, and like
the mic.
It's like, okay, just gotta play a little bit of band dad sometimes. I got practice though, because I have a kid, so I could play band dad pretty well.
I think actually Hunter's the band dad.
Hunter's the band dad, I guess.
Does that make you the band mom?
I guess I'm the band mom.
And what is
I'll be band mom. I'm okay with that.
Band uncle.
The other band mom.
Or
polygamous.
Jeez.
The stepmom, the redheaded stepmom.
Yeah, you
The
could be
South
anything.
African stepmom.
That's funny.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys, like speaking of just like being super busy with everything, are you guys working on any like new music or anything soon?
We actually have
God,
a
yes.
Yeah.
You want to take this, Hunter?
Well, I mean, like, we're gonna go to Nashville in March.
We should talk about
20th.
Found Dead first.
Oh yeah, because we
So,
have a song literally
yes.
coming out
So, yes.
this Friday.
Yes. So
I guess
Found
that's
Dead
older
is
than my
going to be
mind.
coming out. So I know Andrew touched on it a little bit, but the song is called Found Dead. It's coming out this Friday, so 2 days from now. And it's a way more like 80s pop ballad for sure. That's the best way I can describe it, is a very 80s pop ballad. One of the most vinyl-ist songs we've ever written, I think.
The
Yeah.
vinyl knob was cranked high on that
We
one.
cranked it. So it's not as high energy as Dancing the Devil. It's more of a ballad, but it is the song is talking about. Well, I'll let Andrew take the lyrical approach on that one, but we'll just touch on this briefly.
Yeah, the lyrics to that one kind of came from a night of, to be honest with you, like self-pity in some weird way, like I said, Tyler and I were going through some struggles, and it kind of came from this air of not. It kind of came from an air of, just taking stock of yourself and taking a hard truth and realization about yourself. So the first lyric, I remember when I was writing the song, I was just sat in our living room, just on the floor, like literally on the floor, looking up at the ceiling, and I was very drunk, and I was just looking at the ceiling. I was kind of having a self-pity party, you know, and my brain kind of does these things where it'll just think of words, and it's kind of like house, where I can feel like all these like synapses firing, and just words connect to other words, and
Yeah.
I came out.
Jimmy Neutron brain blast.
Honestly, that's what I thought about when you said that. Like,
Oh, really?
little-
Yeah, I can say that.
like-
Yeah, it really feels like that though. And the first lyric I just came up with was like "found dead in my living room," you know, and I thought like, I was like, what if somebody just found you dead in the living room, you know? And it's quite a morose thought, but
Yeah.
it's one that I think like a lot of people like gravitate towards too, because we all have those moments when we're just kind of by ourselves, and you know, maybe we're a little unhappy and we don't quite know why, and maybe it's something like a breakup, maybe it's something, you know, it could be anything, it could be anxiety, and that's where this song kind of stretches, where it's like we know why we wrote the song emotionally and where those emotions stem from, but it's a very universal feeling, and it's a very somber feeling that we all experience like as humans and as like individuals in this 21st century of media and being kind of like somewhat more isolated.
And after we released that on Friday,
And then the Nashville.
yeah, we're flying out to Nashville to go work with our producer Lost Terra. We're going out there in mid end of March.
March
we're gonna be
20th.
out, yeah, we're flying out that night, and then we're gonna be recording for about 5 days. We're gonna go out there and do 2 new songs, and that's gonna pretty much round out this EP we're working on, and we'll have that out hopefully around the end of the summer, at which point we're gonna be touring as well. We're gonna be doing some touring, and right now in the process of locking down some more shows. I know we got a show coming up on March 2nd at the Roxy Theatre. And a little shameless plug, if you get tickets from us on our website, they don't have taxes and fees, so they're like super more affordable because it's like $5 in extra fees and stuff. So we'll hook you up if you guys want to come out to the show.
And you can get those tickets at vinyl.bigcartel.com.
And vinyl spelled with 2 Y's.
Yeah, it's got 2 Y's.
No I in it. Like
NYL.
VYNYL.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is going to be a good show. I think it's going to be a great
Yeah,
night.
opening for the Unlikely Candidates, by the way, who are a great band. Great band. They're super
Yeah.
cool.
I love them. I think I interviewed them at the Bluebird Theater
Oh, really?
when they were back in Denver, and then they came back to perform at Levitt Pavilion. So it was just
Oh,
like,
cool.
yeah.
Very nice,
Yeah.
very nice.
it was crazy. Like they were here like so frequently, and it was crazy. I got to interview them, and then yeah, they were just super fun. They were just like great guys.
They're great guys. Yeah, they're super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Their music's really dope too. I like their stuff a lot.
Yeah. What are you guys most excited for that night? Like anything, like any artist you're excited to see, or like anybody?
There's that band Pretty Awkward that's playing with us. I can't find any of their music anywhere. Nothing. Like literally, they have a website, and that's it. And they're signed to Sony. I know that they have a website and they're signed to Sony, and that's it. I can't find any like previous band names. I'm like, what are you guys doing? So they must have like just recently got signed, because usually that's what
Yeah.
happens. Labels will be
Yeah.
like, okay, pull down all your music, and then we'll put it back up and release it through the because that's how the record labels do it. They own your tracks, so then they distribute them and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what they sound like, because I think they're touring with them. I don't know if it's just a little mini Colorado tour, or if they're doing like it's part of a bigger tour.
It's all relative to South by Southwest.
Oh, so they're going to okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, we were going to try to get into South by Southwest, but we just couldn't make it happen, unfortunately. I wish though. Next year for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We might be doing. I submitted us for a couple festivals too, so we'll see what comes back with those. But like UMS, Westward Music Festival, stuff like that. So hopefully, more than likely, you'll see us out this summer. Be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sounds like you guys are working on a lot of stuff, like
Oh,
new EP,
We're super busy.
touring soon. So
There's a lot of information
crazy.
in that little answer.
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
no,
only way.
yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I was definitely gonna bring up the show because I was like, I'm really excited. Obviously it's gonna be a good night, but I was just
Yeah.
like thinking like, how long does it take you guys to like create a full project from like the first song to like finishing it and like getting the EP done and like setting up the tour and everything? And how do you guys go through all that?
Well, we still haven't finished the EP, and we've been a band for 2 years. So, about 2 years. No, I mean, the sound has just changed so much, and like we said, 2018 was pretty much just like a loss for us entirely. I pretty much just don't count 2018 as a year. Just forget that one. Just forget the whole. And so it's taken us a minute to get back like into the swing of it now, but now that we're back in full swing and we're just like going, we're gonna pretty much have this thing rocked out from like 2 of the songs we've had for about like I say December until June, so about 6 months to get everything together. Just because a lot of times, it's expensive to record music, so finances and things like that. Obviously, I hate to say that like, oh, we're just a bunch of poor musicians, but it does cost money.
When it costs like like $1,500.
But it costs money to do
like $1,500 a song. Like you have to think it's like
it's worth it though. You get what you pay for,
but it takes a minute.
You get what you pay for.
And I also think that another thing that a lot of people kind of forget, well, not I wouldn't say a lot of people, but a lot of artists forget to do is like you put so much money and effort into writing the song. It's like your baby, like you
spent
you
9 months on it,
you like work on it, you work on everything. Yeah, exactly. You spend 9 months working on, I don't know, whatever,
Cooking
or however long. Maybe
oven.
it's a premature song. I don't know, like you only got a couple weeks, but whatever. Like you work on this thing and you spend so much time and effort on it, and then a lot of people just forget to promote it. Like if you don't talk
they spend like $5 promoting it like an ad on Facebook.
Yeah,
it's like,
you have
why?
to like.
No, you need to spend like double what you spent recording it to promote it. Really,
or just really hustle. Just really, really I mean, like that
Hustle
too.
the guerrilla way.
Just do it both. Just really hustle and.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You got to do both. You have to do every single way you can possibly think to promote your song. You have to do it, because there's nothing free in this world nowadays. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's like this quote where it's like, a hit song isn't made, it's marketed.
Exactly.
And it's like, if you spend so much time like recording all of this and then you like don't promote it, then it's like, what's the point?
Hey guys,
Facts.
just put out this EP. It has like 200 plays in like a month or something. It's like what? Like, dude, you spent like $9,000 recording that album. It has like 200 plays.
I think the album format's dead though. I think about an EP as much as you can get away with. If you're a big artist and you're flexing,
or if nothing, it's just it's just about singles, and that's kind of like what we've been following.
It's about just
up until
keeping the
now.
momentum and releasing quality content, because a lot of artists fall short of keeping their momentum going and releasing quality content. They'll release a few songs and then go stagnant for like a few months and come back again, and you just got to keep that momentum.
So yes, we will be releasing songs probably about every
Couple months.
I'd say every three
At
or so
most.
months. On top of the EP, we still have a bunch of like music that we haven't released. We have it. We'll probably end up putting it on like when eventually we do. Well, because once we have enough music compiled, we probably will release an album. But I think the EPs are just about as much as you just have such a short attention span, and you want to get things out consistently. So EPs are a great way to do that, because you get a bunch of songs, and it's just enough to kind of like you get the real feel for it, and you can go back and listen. You don't get sick of it, because sometimes if you just release one song and that's it for like 6 months, people get sick of it. It's not because the song's not good, just because So yeah,
we got some good cookies in the oven.
good cookies. They're like almost ready. They're like 10 more minutes left on them.
Sweet. Yeah, I love that. Some little cookies.
Those cookies
Little snack.
been in the oven for months. They're getting really crispy.
It's one of the best.
Are they oatmeal?
I love oatmeal cookies.
If you like it that way.
I love oatmeal raisin cookies. That's my jam.
I like chocolate chip.
Nobody
I'm
likes those.
not
I
like
those.
picky
Yeah,
about
Tyler and I
cookies.
like the oatmeal raisin. We're heathens.
I love all the cookies.
Yes.
I like oatmeal raisin if I know it's oatmeal raisin ahead of time. I don't like no surprises.
I like the surprise. I like the surprise.
Like you're gonna bite it, like you think it's a chocolate chip cookie, but then it turns out to be raisin.
Yeah, no, you don't. I can go on about cookies, but we shouldn't.
There's a grape in my cookie. No.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's hilarious.
Sweet. So do you guys have any like fun plans for like the spring coming in? Just like anything you do, like any concerts you're gonna go to?
Still locking some stuff down, but yes, we are intending on doing some concerts here in Denver. In the spring.
We're working on festivals, but like that's just like up in the air, because you reach out and then you don't hear back for a bit.
Sure. But I'm sure that we're going to be busy. It's just in that weird gray area right now where like we haven't fully locked things in, but there are
in the
some
discussions
plans.
of talking about
Yeah,
it. So it's like we can't say like, hey,
I can't be like, yeah, I'm playing a show right now.
But we are talking about doing things.
We're talking about doing things.
you know, it's all talk.
There's a lot of talking.
Makes it sound so bad and unorganized. Oh man.
No.
Oh,
It just takes a long time to nail down shows, and it's one of these things where it's a matter of constant emailing for about 2 weeks, even a
Like
month.
3,
a month.
yeah.
A month. It's like a month to get like one show.
Yeah.
And because it's like, hey, how's your schedule? My schedule's fine on this day. Oh no, I can't do it that day. Then,
Yeah, it's like, okay, so take the booking of just a band to practice. Okay, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it?
Yeah,
Can you do it? Okay,
imagine-
cool, good. And now
imagine-
multiply that by like 6, and then
Yeah.
like or like 4 other bands, and be like, okay, can you do it? Can you? Just,
Yeah.
Well, like
booking is crazy. That's why we pay people to do it now.
everybody knows how crazy and like like I guess somewhat unreliable as band people can be. So imagine trying to get.
We get a bad rap. We're pretty reliable, I think.
No, we're pretty decent, but
Sometimes.
Imagine getting practices can be hard for like a lot of big people because of different schedules. So then imagine trying to get 4 bands to play a show, which is pretty much like a big practice.
Oh, and you're competing with other acts trying to get the same show.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Right.
But
So-
I think that's good. I mean, it's better than
it's good.
when I was in North Carolina playing bands. Like, you could, people, you like hit up a venue and they're like, yo, sure, here you go, play a show, and like 5 people show up. Because it's just like there's not much to do. I think Denver's music scene is really a really great scene out here.
Yeah.
The music scene out here is phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, I think with like all the locals we have here, like it just, I don't know, I think people really appreciate it a lot. Like there are so many like really great bands that are just here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we especially in the past couple of years, we have Wilderness who came out of here. We played with them at 93. We have Kenzie, Enzi. She's now rather Enzi. She's fantastic. She just relocated to Nashville. I know that.
Redlands.
Redlands is over here. Like I said,
Silver and Gold.
Silver
Yes.
and
Who we're also
Gold.
playing with, I believe.
Yeah, they're playing the show as well.
Yeah.
Overslept, those guys are hustling. Those guys are great. If you haven't checked out Overslept, you got to go watch their music video. They got like Disney cartoon characters like attacking them in the video. It's great.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It's so good. It's so good. I love those guys. Yeah, and then like Valienta, and there's so many cool people, and there's like, there's I think an endless really kind of
pool of talent.
of talent here in Denver, and it's cool because it's not so big like LA or something where you get like swallowed up.
Yeah.
You go out there, and if you don't have $1 million, or if you aren't like a frickin' Ed
Signed
Sheeran
already,
or something,
yeah.
like you're just like the most amazing person ever. Nobody cares if you're in that middle ground, like where you don't have a lot of money but you still have the talent. A lot of people will either A, take advantage of you, or B, just really not pay attention. So Denver's a good springboard, I think, for a lot of. I mean, you got like One Republic's come out of here, Lumineers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Nathaniel Rateliff, 888.
Fray, I think, right?
The Fray, as well. I mean, there's just a ton. I mean, like that, and
It is possible. It is
Colorado's got
possible.
such a cool history of music, like
303.
it's really underrated. And I think in the past, like even in the past 4 years that I've been here, I've just seen a real kind of surge. And I mean, you guys are. I mean, Hunter, I don't know, Gabe, I don't know if you're from here originally. Are you from Colorado?
Yeah.
Originally.
born
So I don't know if you guys have like if there's been like a massive like kind of like surge of music, or if it's always been kind of like a bit busy as a music scene. But it seems to me like it's very lively right now.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like it's definitely growing a lot more than it used to be. We definitely have a lot more people like coming into Denver and everything, and just like, I think people are just more appreciative of like local bands and just music in general. Like sometimes people will just walk into a venue and be like, "What's going on? I want to go see what's happening."
Yeah.
I
No,
wanna
totally.
be there.
That does happen to us definitely a lot. Even like after show, a bunch of people come up to us. I have no idea who they are.
I mean, like most, I would say,
I'm not gonna remember your name.
when you have a state that has legal marijuana, like a lot of artists tend to indulge, myself included. So,
Yeah.
No,
I think
there's
it is a good drawing point for a lot of
there's
people.
there's a cool venue
Yeah.
actually here in Denver. It's called the International Church of Cannabis, and they put on shows. It's called like a sermon. So they
They have like services,
so-
but you can like smoke weed, and it's basically just like a club. You go smoke like weed
But it's
inside.
also a church.
Interesting.
But it's in
Yeah.
a church.
And there's like performances there.
it's a religion.
Yeah.
It's like
With
they have like
confession
services.
booth and everything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. I really do appreciate you guys coming in and just like making time to speak with me and everything. And
Dude, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
We're
thank
really
you.
appreciative of that.
yeah, I really appreciate it. And then definitely I'll play some of the music here.
Yeah, for
When
sure.
you guys got like new music coming out, just like send it over.
I'll send you the other song. Sorry, I didn't send you that email like right away, but I'll be
Okay.
sure to get you that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just send over the music and we can get it played here. We have like a locals hour from we have one at like 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and then 8 p.m.
Heck
Right?
yeah.
So we have like 3 hours a day of like locals music.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very
cool.
Very cool. Well, we would love to be a part of that, man. Thank you.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys so much. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we go?
Check us out.
Yeah, go check us out on
online.
Spotify, Facebook.
iTunes Music. All of the
Instagram at Vinyl the Band, Twitter at Vinyl. Yeah, we snagged that one. That was a real win right there. Facebook, we're on there. Come see us at the March 2nd show at the Roxy Theatre. The Unlikely Candidates, Silver and Gold, pretty awkward. And yeah, check out Found Dead out this Friday.
And that's Vinyl, VYNYL.
2 Ys. 2
Nice.
Ys. VYNYL.
Yes. Sweet. Awesome.
Thanks
you
so much, guys.
much.
See you later.
See ya.